Here's a recap of what we did in our lesson. We were drawing 3D shapes. We were looking at a sphere, a prism, a cylinder, another type of cylinder, and a cube. And we're using these for designing as much as we can in design thinking. Let me take that off the board, and I think one of the more challenging ones to begin with is the cube, and we'll try that. And I'll then show you our design boards, our sample boards of card shapes that we were doing, and trying to draw those in 3D as well. So the first trick really was to draw a vertical line straight up and down. And then from that, I'm going to draw two lines which slightly drift towards each other, like this. And then another line connecting the two that meet here. That has to be straight up and down. Also, we'll do the same back the way, two lines that are about parallel, another vertical line that goes up and down. And then across the way at the top to make it look as though it's disappearing into the page. It's a similar parallel line to this one here. And then to make it look 3D, we're going to make it look as though it's kind of dark on this side of the board. And we start in this corner here. And just this is sketching, it's not art, it's just sketching. So let me show that again. So vertical line, go off to the side, it's slightly converging as if they're disappearing to the distance. Another vertical line to join those two ends. We do that this side as well, a vertical line. The top can sometimes be a bit a bit tricky. Just look carefully that is the same angle as this line. And similarly here, these lines are almost parallel. And then to add the shape to make it look 3D. And that would be the cube. Now, the other thing that we'd worked on was this incredible sample board that you'd worked on last week. Well, how do we draw these shapes? So I had a request from CJ and another request for the spiral and the cone. So here we go. We're going to look, here's our shapes. I'm going to just flip the camera around so that we've got a great view of how to. So we started off trying to have a go with drawing the spiral. How do we make the spiral look 3D? There's the cone, I'll show you that in a minute. There's the zigzag, I'll show you that in a minute. And there is a spiral looking, perhaps it's the other way around, one's left-handed, one's right-handed. But the way that you start is draw your spiral. So it doesn't have to be too big, but there's a spiral. It's almost like a galaxy. And on the very end here, you can draw a vertical line. Remember, up and down, vertical. And then just on this edge here, draw one that is a similar length, the same length. And then you've got these two endpoints. Join those with a nice curve. And then this to complete here, that's part of the solid shape. This end here, which is in the middle of our spiral, is also part of the shape. Straight up and down. And then this edge here. So these are vertical lines which just make us think that it's a 3D shape. And somebody said that it was like a toilet roll. But these lines here, that edge, that edge, that end, that edge. So now, how do we make that look 3D? Well, we're going to add a little bit of texture and make it look as though it's dark on this edge here. And it might be dark along the bottom slightly. Maybe a little bit of a shadow. We're just sketching. And here, going to add a little bit of line work that goes one way and then the other way. So I hope that helps. Now, that's the outside. It makes it look as though it's 3D. And then the inside as well. So I'm going to add a little bit more color just there. It looks as though it's in the shadows. It's in the dark. That helps us. And then this just adding, and we're not trying to do an artwork, we're just trying to do a little piece of suggesting that something is three-dimensional. You can even make it look as though it's on a table, and I can do that by doing a line across there. So that was the spiral. The other one was the cone. How did we do the cone? Well, similarly, we start off with, this time not a spiral, but just an oval. So let me show you again. So again, the oval, well, just an oval. And then from the edge here, we're going to go to somewhere over here as the point. I guess it's because it's upside down, isn't it? It's an upside down cone. That's all right. And add a bit of shade over here. Now we could make it look as though it's got something in the cone. I'm going to go, there's my lines, they've gone across the way that way. I'm now going to try lines going slightly across the way as well. Adds a little bit more texture, and just that edge there could be a little bit darker. So that's more advanced. You can try more of the advanced. You might have to half close your eyes. What if there was a hole in the cone? I could draw another oval on the inside, and then that would be even darker there. Wow. Okay, look. All right. So that was the cone, and then the final piece that you wanted to have a go at was the zigzag. How do we make the zigzag look three-dimensional? Okay, so that was we'll do the zigzag. Zigzag. And it's almost a duplicate zigzag. In fact, you could do it. This is a slightly quicker way. You go do, if you can, the same zigzag. Now, what happens is that you do need to make sure that your lines are vertical up and down, that those are the parallel ones. So you might, again, it's just a sketch. We're not trying to go for super accuracy. We're joining each piece. Now, we're trying to make it look as though we're looking down. So if we were looking down on something, there's an edge there. There would be an edge on the top as well. So there's an edge on the top. And so this is going back over that edge as if it's, okay. Now we've got a little bit of shading to do. And so we're imagining the light is coming from another direction. So the shadow is in here. So shade that one, miss one, shade this one because the shadow is still in that bit. And this one, miss one, put the shadow in here. And then we have our zigzag. So there you go. We did some basic shapes. We did a cube, we did a zigzag, we did a cone, and we did a spiral.